Hello, everybody. Just getting everything published live here. Just take me 30 more seconds and we will go here. Okay. Perfect. Okay, I can hear myself talking. That's a good sign. Just make it so I can see the comments and we're off to the radio. Okay, so how is everybody doing today? Oh, what a crazy weekend of solar flares and other energies. Yesterday I was hurting a lot. Energies were very, I don't know, painful. I don't know how to describe it, but it was just kind of all this stuff purging, trying to make me feel bad about myself, things I'd done, how I treated people, basically not trying to even respect me. And it got pretty disgusting after a while, but I breathed through it and I made it. What I wanted to talk today about is self-trust. And I think this is a little bit of an advanced topic because our actual lack of trust in ourselves is something that's built over our lifetime. I don't know how to explain where it begins, but basically from childhood, we're kind of beaten down a little bit, and it depends on your parents, depends on what lineage, traumas and stuff you chose, but it basically got us to be validated from outside, to get our belief in ourselves fed from external, so that people could take it away or hold it back and make us feel like we weren't worthy in some way. And I'm gonna conjecture that trusting ourselves with all these beliefs is one of the hardest things we're ever going to have, because as you go through these jumping blocks, I guess, of what we call our life, we're forced more and more to turn inside, to get trust in ourselves, to get confidence that the decisions we're making are right, to slowly bleed away the self-pleasing or the outside pleasing, people pleasing, all that kind of stuff, and become more self-pleasing. How can I set a boundary that'll make myself feel loved? How can I set a boundary that's not going to exhaust me? How can I set a boundary that is going to serve me first? And after a whole lifetime, and especially with families, and a lot of times families are narcissistic in this world, a lot of things have been taught about having to feel loved, and a lot of us are chasing the love of our parents, our mother, or whatever, our whole entire life, because she didn't feel loved. She leaves these hooks and needs to please her mother and her grandmother, and at the same time it leaves this need and a programming in you to serve them. And that's the only way. It's like the lineage is sucking each other dry, and the only way that you can fill that is to be loved by someone, your mother, your parents, your lover, your spouse, your kids, your whatever. When really, once you go through all the work and you separate everything, you remove all the attachment, you're going to find out the only person that can really love you is you first. And then from that point, when we're 100% of our love, that can never be taken away from us. And when that can't be taken away from us, things change, because we're no longer having to submit to people that don't have our best interests at heart to please them so that we feel loved. And then we end up, it's kind of like a prostituting ourselves. And I'm not talking in the sexual manner, I'm talking in giving into bad behavior, people abusing us, people not caring for us, just so that we have somebody in our life to keep us safe, to keep us loved, to keep us whatever. And then when that person leaves or those people go away, like half of us, it feels like our whole head is chopped off or our body is chopped off. Well, it actually is energetically. When you've given 50% of yourself to another person and invested in them so that they'll stay in your life, and then they leave and you don't know the reason why, it's literally that 50% of your energy is with them, and you don't know that you can call it back. You don't know that you're being torn apart because of that. And then they're taking their love away to give to somebody else, and you're feeling like empty. It's like, oh, 50% of mine was gone, and that 50% that they were feeling is gone. You're just like empty and dying, and it doesn't have to be that way. What if you loved yourself first and you're from 100% and all you ever gave was from the extra, that overflow of love? All of a sudden, when that person leaves, yeah, you're going to feel a little lesser or whatever, but you're still full of your own love. But the minute you're loving outside yourself, which is taught from the minute we're born, then you're lost. You're every time that person leaves, or you're always giving of yourself to keep that love. Now, this is where the self-trust comes in. So to build self-trust, so to believe that you're making the right decisions, you have to find a place of self-awareness, understanding that your needs need to be met before you can meet the needs of other people. And how many times to meet these things of loving other people and to keeping people loving in our life have we had to, I said the word prostitute ourselves, to give up a part of ourselves to please someone else, and then you were disappointed afterwards, and then you hated yourself for doing this thing over and over and over to another person that didn't really love you anyways because they left or they took away part of your love. Well, do you think you trust yourself after that? You believe that that was the right thing to do. You believed all the programming that you were told that this would keep you happy and keep you in love and keep you safe and all these kind of things, and they went away. And you were mad at yourself. The only person you could blame was you. You could blame them and be angry all day long, but they didn't really give a shit. They were selfish and whatever. But in the end, did you trust yourself? And then look at things like we get in trauma in our life. Let's say you get attacked and somebody steals your money and you're really traumatized. There's anger towards them, but there's also I don't know what you want to call it, like an unforgiveness towards ourselves for letting that happen, to going into that dark alley, to allowing that to happen and punishing ourselves. And then after a while, we can't even trust our own decisions. So it's like you're out and about and you're living in that fear of that thing happening again. So now all of a sudden you're not going out at all. So now all of a sudden you can't go anywhere without having that fear show up. But you don't really trust yourself. You haven't really trusted yourself because that thing happened and you don't know why, what you could have done better, what you could have done different. Well, it happened. Can you change it? Or are you going to put 10 million feet of armor protecting yourself, saying, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to go out. I'm not going to whatever. And then suffering and hurting and dying and feeling in this cage because you did everything right and everything went wrong. Well, I'm going to suggest right now to you, I live that every day. I feel I am good, shining into the world, shining light out, all these kind of things. And all these dark little things come and henpeck at me all day long. No matter how loving I am, how careful I am, how much protection I put out, all this kind of stuff, that's the darkness. It's just trying to henpeck and pull at all of us. And I'm going to guarantee most of the things that happen bad in your life were darkness trying to get off on you being angry, you being sad, sucking you dry, stealing from you. The partners that we're choosing, all these kind of things had these darknesses in them that they didn't even know. It came from their family. They were doing the best that they can. And we were trying to fix them and we were trying to love them and they hurt us. It happened. It happens every day. This is a world that's been dark for a long time and it's getting better. All I can say is who is going to bring unconditional love back other than a person that's being unconditional in their loving? I can speak from example. People think that an unconditionally loving person is the smorgasbord of just, I'm going to give you love and I'm not going to expect anything back. But eventually by sitting there and giving my love out without having to protect myself and keep myself safe, eventually someone's going to be safe enough to do that same thing back for me. That's a self-trust. I trust that unconditional loving that at one point in my life I thought was me suffering and me getting hurt all the time and all this kind of stuff was a deeper me saying, I'm setting an example for the world. And I'm willing to set that example for the world every day, even though they don't understand it. They think it's fun and it's a smorgasbord. But I'll tell you right now, the people that show up and think it's a smorgasbord and don't stay in my life for long, because they haven't learned. They haven't come to feel that vibration. They love the vibration. They love it. Well, I don't have to keep you in my life if you're going to keep doing that. I'm going to give you a chance, maybe two. And then it's like, oh, you're not getting the idea. You're not getting the lesson. It's self-trust in me now saying, I believe in a better world. I believe in better things. I believe that I can reach out to someone and assume the best in them first, because I'm trusting myself. I'm going to trust that it's going to show up, and I'm going to see when they're not in alignment. I can speak millions of times where I let people into my life and they are wounded little birds and all that kind of stuff. And I learned really heavy, strong lessons from all that. But in the end, I've learned to understand what that energy is, why I'm letting it in, what was underneath it, what stuff was going on underneath. And now I don't allow that to happen again, because I trust myself. I trust that I can go into those energies, read them, and now read them for the right. And I get more and more awareness every time. And I'm trusting more and more in my decisions. I'm trusting more and more of my reading energies. I'm trusting more and more of how I'm letting people into my life. And there's a really magical place in there. And it means getting hurt once in a while. It means the energy's going sideways once in a while. It means welcoming a few people in that didn't come in alignment. Because how else are you going to learn that? How else are you going to learn the energies were off, and what the right vibration is and what the wrong vibration is? What's a needy one versus a lack one versus a self-empowered one? But eventually we learn to trust ourselves that what's going on, I have self-responsibility in. It's showing up for a reason to show me something. I'm also seeing that there's a lot of darker energies out there that want to take and participate in these old ways. But how am I going to set an example for better if I don't put myself out there? But as time goes on, more and more often, I'm going to be able to feel those energies and say, hey, I'm not going to let you in this time because you're really not even trying. So this is building self-trust, self-confidence, self-integrity. And eventually you're going to say, holy shit, this is amazing. Because I don't have to worry about going into an experience with another person and I'm scared I'm going to say yes when I really mean no, because I've been through all that. That self-trust that I can walk in and honor myself every time is fucking powerful. And self-confidence, self-worth, self-value, all these things are within self-trust, because now it's like, I'm not going to play that game anymore. No, I've played it, I've danced in it, and it's not serving either of us. And how are they going to change and heal unless they find somebody that stands for themselves and say, hey, I'm not time. This has been crazy. I don't want crazy anymore. I want fun. I want playful Paul. I want things that are always honoring me. How are you going to get that? By going into experiences with self-trust. And I'm going to tell you the most powerful experiences are the ones that feel really edgy, feel uncomfortable. Maybe you got hurt through last time, and going into them with confidence and watching what unfolds. And as you watch what unfolds, you're going to see some magic, because new awareness is up there. It's like, oh, this is the same as last time. What if I ask this question instead? What if I do this? What if I say no when I mean no? How are they going to respond? Are they going to be angry at me? Are they going to be screaming at me? Are they going to be whatever? You get a chance to re-explore it now with awareness. And now you're learning to trust yourself. It's like, I'm going into this and I know I can make a choice that's always for me. I know I can stand in my power with this person. It's magic. It's gritty. It's a little bit scary sometimes, but it's magic. And I'm going to suggest that learning self-trust is best learned in a container with other people that you can trust, with a community that's doing this work, that's learning this stuff. And that's what I want to teach. I want to show people these spaces. I want to show the containers where we can go in and explore those edges, find out where it didn't work out last time, where we weren't honoring ourselves, and do it in a place where other people are honoring themselves. And then you're going to find the energies just compatible with with building that self-trust. If we wander around without self-trust, we just put these shields in front of us, in front of everybody, and we build this armor in our heart, and then we can't believe that things can be better. And I want to show you better. I want to give you an opportunity for that. And your life is giving it to you all day long. You just don't know it. You don't always have the frame of reference for somebody to say, you're building self-trust. Look at what the universe has given to you. Instead of like, I got screwed over again, and this is awful, and all this kind of stuff, you can say, oh, now I know discernment. Now I know what's choosing me. Now I know what felt good in my heart, or was me giving up myself just so that I could feel love. And unconditional love is us loving ourselves always first, and giving love unconditionally to other people. But if they don't respect that, they don't give it back, they don't other things, you don't have to participate with them again. It doesn't mean you yell and scream. It doesn't mean you say, you're an awful person or whatever. You say, I'm just going over here because I unconditionally love, and you put hooks on me, and I'm not going to do that again. And then you're going to self-trust. You're going to say, I only attract the people that are in unconditional love. And everybody else is seeing the unconditional love, and they love it, and they want to come on and help themselves at the smorgasbord. But you got to teach them that it's not a smorgasbord. It's an invitation. It's an invitation to better, into feeling in a new way, and a whole new culture, and a whole new way of seeing the world. When you can unconditionally love, magic happens. And if you're not being able to trust yourself, you're not unconditionally loving yourself first. And to give unconditional love, you got to start there. So self-trust is a really important thing. I'll probably talk about it more, but it came up really big for me over the weekend. Where are you not self-trusting yourself? Ask that. You'll be surprised. So hopefully this is helpful. I love you all, and I appreciate you listening. And if there's any questions, as always, put them in the bottom. I see some beautiful from Marsha. Unconditional love, Andrea, thank you. And I wish you all a good day. Loving you all. Have fun, and we'll talk again soon. See you.